According to the 2015 Global Risks Report, water is the #1 global risk of highest impact in the next 10 years. Analytical studies have projected our global demand for water will exceed available supply by 40% in 2030, and by 2050, an estimated $63 trillion of global gross domestic product will be put at risk under business-as-usual water management. How can we encourage one another and our communities in Joe Davis County to avoid business-as-usual water management, to be prepared for the challenges before us? Let's look at some possibilities for what individuals can do in and around their homes. Which of these do we want to include in the recommendations we make in our water resource management plan? Are there groups with whom we can collaborate to maximize impacts? And what are the sources of funding available to support our efforts? Stormwater runoff is a serious problem in Joe Davis County, resulting in soil erosion, costly damage to infrastructure, and even loss of life. The solution to this problem is to keep the raindrops where they fall. Developed properties have more hard surfaces that force water to flow over land. As homeowners, we need to be responsible for retaining and detaining rainwater on our properties. There are many tried and tested practices that can help us to do this. Cover crops and compost increase soil absorption capacity. Green roofs absorb rainfall. Tanks and rain barrels collect and store rain for later use. Porous materials like mulch, gravel, or permeable pavers for walkways, driveways, patios, etc. allow water to percolate into the soil rather than running off. Deeply rooted native plants increase organic matter and increase the absorption capabilities of the soil. Rain gardens can be designed to retain or detain water on site. Bioswales serve as conduits, but unlike culverts, they slow water flow and allow for infiltration. There are a variety of existing programs and materials designed to help homeowners manage their stormwater. 168 Elm Avenue in Elmhurst is a reference model in which homeowner and landscape architect Marcus de la Fleur is retaining 100% of his stormwater on site using a suite of practices. What can those of us who are not landscape architects do? We can turn to the tools, people, programs, and even funding support that is available to us. The EPA offers a national stormwater calculator that accesses national databases for information on soil, topography, rainfall, and evaporation to estimate site runoff. The Natural Resource Conservation Service offers a web soil survey that allows for the evaluation of our soil's ability to infiltrate water. Our county soil survey offers additional soil information. The Joe Davis Soil and Water Conservation District participates in the Illinois Department of Agriculture's Partners for Conservation program, which is providing cost-share dollars toward rain garden installation. The cost-share rate cannot exceed $6 per square foot or 60% of installation cost, whichever is less. University of Illinois Extension staff, including Jay Solomon and Candace Miller, can provide educational programs on sustainable landscape. Rain barrels can be purchased or made at home. The prairie enthusiasts, specialty contractors, and local nurseries can provide information about native plantings that will grow well in our area. By keeping the raindrops where they fall, we'll be able to reduce the cost of stormwater damage. Cost-benefit analysis of various practices is difficult to calculate as each situation and location is unique. However, one real-world example highlights the fact that there are expenses related to a lack of stormwater management. The addition of a new driveway at the Baranski residence resulted in increased stormwater runoff that crossed the road and eroded the road edge and hillside, to the point that a significant riprap project was required. Galena Public Works Director Jim Rigdon estimates that this project, including labor, equipment, and material, cost the city approximately $500. With so much information available and so many options for customizing stormwater management efforts for each site and each homeowner, the challenge becomes where to begin and how best to move forward. Perhaps we should just do it, document the results, and learn together from our shared experiences. For example, Bonnie Cox has been proactive about stormwater management on her property. She and her husband John are located in Galena on a city lot. They've had basement flooding issues for years and recently completed a drain tile project costing about $8,000. Bonnie has 3 rain barrels. She is an avid gardener, and intrigued by the stormwater management benefits, she has been working with the University of Wisconsin-Platteville environmental engineering students to incorporate rain gardens on her property. After assessing the site, the students designed the gardens using Natural Resource Conservation Service standards and modeled the benefits of various rain garden alternatives. The students also modeled the removal of total suspended solids, total nitrogen, and total phosphorus by the proposed rain gardens. 3 gardens were designed to meet the client's stormwater management needs and aesthetic goals. Cost estimates were provided for installing the gardens. Once completed, these gardens will be a model that can be referenced by others. Waste disposal directly impacts water quality. When individuals in our communities use the toilet, shower, washing machine, or dishwasher, wastewater leaves their homes in pipes that connect to the community sewer system. Putting the wrong things down the drain can damage the sewer system, cause sewer backups in homes, and sewer releases to the environment. Basically, the only thing you should ever flush down the toilet is human waste and toilet paper. Wipes have become a growing problem in public systems as they jam up the equipment, causing expensive maintenance steps and repairs. Unused medications should be disposed of in the garbage or at approved prescription drug take-back sites or events. Those not on public sewer have septic systems that must be properly designed, constructed, and maintained to provide long-term effective treatment of household wastewater. Malfunctioning systems can contaminate groundwater that might be a source of drinking water. The County Health Department maintains a private sewage disposal program through the Environmental Health Division with the goal of preventing disease and nuisances and protecting the environment from improperly treated sewage. An inspection report with a detailed site map is completed and kept on file in the Environmental Health Office. This map has distances to the septic tank and drain field. It's a good idea to have a record of your septic layout so landscape, decks, patios, etc. don't encroach on the septic area. It's also a good idea to have a record handy when it's time to have your tank pumped. A septic system is your own personal sewer plant that requires maintenance on a routine basis. The Environmental Health website offers information on septic system maintenance do's and don'ts, how to care for your septic system, a homeowner's guide to septic systems, and a video on maintenance. While some areas treat surface water, in Joe Davis County, groundwater is used for our water supply. Many households are on private wells in Joe Davis County, and this water is untreated for use. The quality of untreated well water is reliant on the quality of the groundwater at the depth it is being drawn from, and the age and the construction of the well. Scientists from the State Geological and Water Surveys have completed a preliminary evaluation of the water quality in the Galena Dolomite Aquifer, from which private wells draw in the county, and in a recent paper noted that historic data reveal stratification of surface-borne contaminants, greatest concentrations near the surface, within the fractured and creviced aquifer to a depth of about 300 feet. Private wells in the county range in depth from 80 to over 500 feet, and some wells date back to the 1890s. Individuals concerned about the quality of their well water may be interested in a home filtration system. A system like the one shown here, with multiple micron filters, a carbon filter, a reverse osmosis filter, a UV sterilizer, a deionizing filter, and a final carbon filter, can be installed for about $300. The County Health Department maintains a potable water supply program through the Environmental Health Division, with the goal of providing safe drinking water protected from sources of contamination. All private water wells in the county must be permitted and installed by a licensed well driller and inspected to ensure that they meet applicable state code and local ordinance. Staff review plans, issue permits, inspect construction of new wells, perform evaluations for real estate transactions, collect water samples, and provide consultation associated with laboratory analysis. A water well construction and pump installation report is completed and kept on file in the Environmental Health Office. This report has distance to the septic tank and drain field, depth of well, depth of casing, depth of pump, etc. It's a good idea to have a record of your well report in case repairs are needed. The Illinois State Water Survey and the Illinois Water Resources Center at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign offers a free online private well class that educates homeowners about the design, construction, and maintenance issues associated with their private well. Well and septic evaluations for the purpose of a real estate transaction are not required by the Joe Davis County Health Department, but may be required by lending agencies or in real estate contracts. It's a good idea to have one done for liability purposes and to prevent unexpected expenses related to repairs or replacement. When a well isn't used for more than 30 days, it's considered abandoned and should be sealed. It's estimated that there are about 1,000 unsealed abandoned wells in the county. Abandoned wells are a risk to groundwater quality because they are direct conduits to aquifers that wells pull their water from. It's important to seal abandoned wells not only to protect groundwater in general, but also to protect your existing well from possible contamination. A private donor and the Joe Davis Soil and Water Conservation District are currently partnering in a program promoted by the League of Women Voters of Joe Davis County to pay for 80% of the costs, up to $600, for sealing an abandoned well. Lawn and yard care can involve chemical applications that result in stormwater and groundwater contamination. Use techniques to reduce pest populations to acceptable levels while minimizing the potential impact of pesticides and herbicides on humans and on the environment. Test soil prior to applying fertilizer and only apply fertilizer in accordance with soil test results and recommendations. Maintain a chemical-free buffer strip in lawn areas that border streams or ponds. Take care in the mixing and use of chemicals and consider storage containers and application equipment in the cleanup process. The products we use can result in stormwater and groundwater contamination. Consider reducing your purchase of products that contain hazardous ingredients. Learn about the use of alternative methods or products without hazardous ingredients for some common household needs. To avoid potential risks associated with household hazardous wastes, it's important to monitor the use, storage, and disposal of products with potentially hazardous substances. Use and store products containing hazardous substances carefully to prevent accidents. Keep hazardous products in their original containers and never remove labels. When leftovers remain, never mix household hazardous wastes with other products. Incompatible products might react, ignite, or explode, and contaminated household hazardous waste might become unrecyclable. Remember to follow any instructions for use and disposal provided on product labels. Call your environmental health or solid waste agency for instructions on proper use and disposal and to learn about household hazardous waste drop-off programs and upcoming collection days. Water is a surprisingly inexpensive commodity. On average, tap water costs are slightly more than $2 per 1,000 gallons, with treatment accounting for about 15% of that cost. However, conserving water preserves Joe Davis County's valuable groundwater resources and can save money. Eliminate leaky faucets and fixtures. Install water-saving devices like low-flow shower heads and efficient appliances. Don't let the water run while brushing your teeth, washing vegetables, or rinsing dishes. Use drought-resistant plants in landscaping to reduce the need to water, and when watering plants, do so efficiently. Note that most sources of energy utilize water, and that energy conservation is also water conservation. Are there other homeowner practices that we want to consider? What goals, objectives, and strategies do we want to include? What collaborations can take place to leverage existing resources to meet these goals? What do you think?